Hello, everybody. TechStack here. Hey, guys. Since I streamed last, did a little bit more work. What did I do work on? Draw a blank. So I've obviously done some work on the semi-tractor here. Let me load up the spreadsheet here. The excavator we did the stream or two ago. Continuous miner we've got to a point where it's about as good as it's gonna get. There's probably some minor cleanups we can do at some point, but we're pretty good for now. And then I started working on the semi-tractor, right? So the semi-tractor, its main problem, had 185 faces in this thing, 185,000, and it's, you know, got all of the different attachments to it. So there's lots and lots of wheels in this thing. I've gone through and I think I've replaced every single wheel, and with all the different attachments, including these things which were not even in the game yet, right? They're not a thing that we need to worry about. We're sitting at 4,000 faces now. So I'm pretty happy with that, because that's with all the attachments like that. The end result in the game is you're not going to have a wide bed truck, a farm, a livestock trailer, a liquid tank. You're not going to have all these at the same time on this thing. So in reality, what you're going to have is something like this, where you've got a livestock and the semi-trailer. We're looking at 2,000 faces. Or the item one, 1,600 faces between the two of those. This one, 2,000 faces. This one, under 2,000 faces, 1,500. So we're in good shape. That was the last one. That was the last one I had to clean up. I haven't got it in the game. Still need to do that. So let's go ahead and export this thing. I just cleaned up the models all. I'm not sure how to write down the numbers for this one because it's going to be kind of funny. I guess, my opinion, the most used one's probably going to be the Y-bed trailer. I think that's the one we've actually got set up for survival. So we can go with that number, I guess. So let's see, where is it? Semi-tractor OBJ. Export that file. That should get all the different attachments, I think, when I don't have them shown. I don't know. What else is there? I think that's it. Let's write down this number as our number. So 1593. I know this is kind of exaggerated, the starting number, because of the it included all the different ones, but we're at 0.86 now, right? So we're sitting pretty good. So we've cleaned up the model. Yes, we've exported it. Why is that one not saying yes? We definitely exported that. And same for this. Excavator's exported. Well, it's not looking okay though. That's definitely for sure. So let's go ahead and fire up the game itself. See how it looks in the game with this wide bed trailer on it. Make sure I didn't break anything. Make sure all the different attachments still work, because that would be testing all of the code for them basically when we do that. To make sure that the object names didn't change, because I was joining objects together and things like that. So if I did them out of order or something funny, then things would be off and the code wouldn't work. It'd crash off. And the code. Yeah, just checking my sounds out. Okay, I don't have anything else open. Let's go ahead and come on, load up my spreadsheet on another screen here. Okay, let's clean up the world, I guess. I forgot I had this on there. Hey, Fire.
Hello.
How you doing tonight?
I'm alright.
Let's just get away from this. I think I'm done, Fiery. With the models.
Yay!
I should say with cleaning up the models to get rid of extra faces. I went and before work, on my lunch, and then after work I cleaned up the semi and got it to where with just one attachment you're somewhere between 1,500 and I'll say 2,200 faces total, depending on which attachment it is.
Cool. Oh my god. Are you telling me that this thing is close to a release state?
Until I just seen what I'm seeing now. Dang it.
Oh!
It's close to release date, yeah. Something's funky about this. When you sit inside of it, you can see through the faces over here on that side of the truck. So that needs cleaned up.
No. They're air holes, you see? It's for air
ventilation? Okay, let's get a trailer. Trailer. Flatbed, livestock, tanker, and cargo. What? No, I didn't. Oh, you're not actually there, dang you! That bug's gotta get fixed.
Well, do we know what we're moving on to for the next portion?
Oh, I'm kind of planning on fixing bugs next anyway. It's not a surprise to me. Okay, that works. It looks good.
Yeah, that one's going to be fun to fix, though.
Yeah, because it's probably going to reintroduce another bug somewhere else.
Oh, of course. I mean, you know how you know the ratio. You squash 1 and 2 of them up here.
That's basically what's happened. Literally. The loader's inventory doesn't show anymore when you throw items at it. And then there's that weird one when you pick an item up, sometimes it doesn't actually disappear from the world.
It's like Samael from Hellboy. Every time you kill him, you get 2 of them in return. Captain America, where's that from?
It's from the Marvel Universe.
Oh yeah, from Hydra, I suppose that could be taken from there too. No, I was actually referencing Hellboy there, the Samael beast from the first one. Every time Hellboy killed him, 2 of them would come back to life.
I think I know which thing you're talking about. It's like a lizard-looking kind of thing, almost.
Yeah. And it can flip itself in any direction, and... yeah. But yeah, Rasputin released him, and I think he actually put the curse on him to do that. If I remember. Did you hear they're supposed to be making another Hellboy?
Are they?
Yeah, a reboot.
Huh. I had not heard that. Wait, a whole reboot of it? They're not going to carry on with the storyline?
Nope. Nope.
No, that doesn't make no sense.
I know.
I guess it's just because they can't think of anything new ever.
Hey, Eagle.
There you go. Get that face is off, so that needs to be flipped to normal.
Hellboy's a decent movie. I don't know if I'd suggest it, but it's okay. I like the second one better. For real.
Second one. I'm trying to think what's in the second one.
Hellboy and the Golden Army.
Yeah, I just can't remember what the story's about. That's what I'm saying.
Dark elves are sick of mankind defouling their lands and killing basically all of nature. And so the Prince of the Dark Elves tries to revive the Golden Army, which is an invincible army that can only be controlled by a king.
Okay. Definitely don't remember it, Fiery. Don't remember L's in any of the Hellboy stuff. I'll have to see if it's on Netflix and watch it. The fuel tanks on the truck were not a pain, mainly because I just recreated them. They're a cylinder with a cylinder on the outside and then 2 cubes. So I just recreated them. They would have been a pain. They were like 900 faces apiece.
Ouch!
That's why I'm like, nope, those gotta go. Gotta replace them all. Because now they're 83 faces. Now, what I'm seeing is wrong here is that I've only got one, though. And there were supposed to be two. And I know why. It's because I had a mirror modifier set up on the thing to create the second one, and then joined it to the truck without applying it first. That probably removed it. So that means I need to do this. Add the mirror modifier back on. Get that second one there. Apply it, and then rejoin them. There. It was the two cylinders that were joined together. So the cylinder there and the ring around it was joined together somehow. At least I think that's what it was. I will say the wheels were separate. Like, they were their own little thing, and I could pull it apart like that real easy. And that made the truck itself not as bad. Because that was where the problem was. The round objects get a ton of faces and vertices on them, and it tries to connect to them in every single possible way it can from the adjoining flat face on the surface. You'll notice that the fenders here are also kind of more squared off. That's because I rebuilt those as well. And when I took them off, let me see here if I can do it. When I took them off, I pulled them off, and it was like part of the truck too. There was a hole missing where the fender was, because it was actually connected to the truck frame. So things like that. Actually, I think I cheated. I made it one smooth thing across both sides. So it would be, instead of two faces, one on each side, it's one big face that cuts through and you can't tell. So tricks like that can save you some face count. So let's save this, export it one more time, see if that fixes that little rendering bug I had. If it does, then we'll call this one done. We did pick up a few extra faces there, another 80 some from the duplication I just did of this. So what is our count now? 1680. Still plenty low enough. Let's go ahead and close this. Oh, the stream might be cutting out for a second. I got a yellow light in OBS. Dropped 59 frames, it says. Okay, so we're good there. Let's make sure that this is done a build. Let's see what this is about. Well, the stream's messing up again. It's yellow. No. OBS, do you need to update or something? Or is it my internet today?
Doesn't look like it's messing up.
You literally said that, and I got the red light back in OBS. Like, it doesn't look like it's messing up. Red. It's dropping frames right now. Now it's back to green. What's left for the new build? I just need to kind of go through stuff and make sure everything's working, because this branch of the code was a little bit funky. By that I mean it was the one that started to have the assembly tables and the robot arms and all that, so I just want to make sure things work. There we go. Now we've got an inside to this thing. Now, as far as what is needed before we go to an that bug needs to be really fixed before we go to an actual public build. Like, we can put it on the server now, because this is just solved by relogging. So what happened there is I picked it up, but the client still thinks it was there, even though it wasn't. Yeah, so we're good now. So let's put on a truck. Anything really will work with it. Drive her forward here. Get out of it and pick it up. Let's see if I can get it to happen again. Great. It's not gonna happen. It'll happen with any truck, says Tech. Except for when I want it to happen. There. It's not actually there. Right now it's not there. I can't get in it. I can put down a new one. It's giving me more and more of them as I click on it, because it's thinking I'm picking one up, but it's not actually giving it to me. Oh, and then it disappears every once in a while. If I go out of the chunk, which chunk was it? Somehow my AK was reproducing it. He went out of the chunk and it disappeared and went back in. It was there. You need that bug a few times? Are you saying you want to duplicate your stuff or something? Let's see if I actually got it duplicated. Yeah, it's not actually there. Okay. So let's see if we can sort that one out. You've seen it, okay. Adding to chunk, so that's right there when it happened. I bet you anything. It added it twice, and it shouldn't have. Okay, I'm gonna open this window up on another screen here so that I can watch the console as the bug happens and try and understand what's going on. So truck. Right. I think it's the code that fixed the magic disappearing thing that fixed it, or brought this bug on. Do it. Get out of it. Remove it. There. Just reproduced it. Added it to the chunk. Let me clear this. Added it to the chunk. There, removed it and I got the bug. I think we need to send a message to the client from the server saying this is no longer here, and that should fix it. You're being asked about the forklift idea. You there, Fry? Are you asleep?
What's that?
Said you're being asked about your forklift idea.
Oh. Yeah, I was just throwing the idea to Tech about maybe making a pallet item with like either 4 or 8 of his storage things on it, and then have a forklift be able to pick it up and move it around. That way you can move like hundreds of thousands of blocks without having to move them.
For example, server worlds would have this set to false. So that would be a server only thing. We're setting it to dead.
Yeah, well, it being cool and it actually being able to happen is two different things entirely.
Sorry, I was zoning out when you were explaining it. What is it supposed to move? I know it's going to move stuff, but what's it going to move?
I was thinking that it could move like a pallet with like either 4 or 8 of your storage blocks on it.
The crates?
Yeah.
How would they get on the pallet together?
Either okay, implementation of another item.
That's what I was getting at. Like the crate itself, you're saying move it with its items in it, right?
Yeah.
Why not just pick up the crate by itself with its items in it?
Because those crates are likely usually inside of people's houses, and that would make it rough to get the forklift in there.
So how would you get them on the crate again? Back to the first question.
I was thinking maybe like a dolly. You remember that dolly that was in that one mod? I can't remember what the name of the mod is, but it was like right
Java or something like that.
Yeah. Only it would be tuned to only work for the crates.
So you right-click the crate, it picks the crate up into the pallet. Is that what you're saying?
Into the inventory of the thing, and then you can put it on the pallet.
Then if it's on the pallet in your inventory, why do you need the forklift if you can just walk around with the crate in the
Because you can stack 8 of them on the pallet and move the entire pallet around so that you could build like giant warehouses. I don't know. I'm just pulling this one out my rear.
I'm just thinking, if I can walk around in the world with a pallet in my hand and right click or left click, whatever it does.
Okay.
On a crate and it picks the crate up.
Okay.
Why do I need the forklift other than to look cool?
Big workaround for that one.
You got to use the forklift to pick up the crate? Then you don't need the pallet?
No.
What?
With a crate on that dolly thing, you can't take it off. You can't walk around, or you can't do anything else until that pallet gets, or until that crate gets off of that item. Like, it slows you down. It puts mining fatigue on you. The whole works.
Okay. But what's to stop you from putting it in an ender chest or doing something else? You see what I'm saying? If you can pick it up as an item, there's lots of ways to get around that. Throw it in the back of the dump truck even.
Can you make it not able to do that? Can you make it so that you can't?
Probably not. Not put it in an ender chest?
Not put it in anything.
I really doubt it. Because that would be basically making a core mod then. And I don't want to do that. Let me rephrase that. I won't do that. I want to avoid making core mod.
Aren't you almost going to have to do that for the dimension anyway?
No, not at all. Forge has the ability to do that.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to do a core mod because it will severely break under the next update. Like, everything that breaks under an update. But a core mod, it's gonna break bad. And they're not easy to do either.
Okay, well...
Next update, okay? Back to 1.712, please. Thank you. Let's see. Where do we add to chunk? No. Added to chunk.
I tried, guys. I really tried.
That wasn't me saying next update back to 112. That was Eagle saying that. If you weren't watching the chat, he wants us to go back.
I'm watching the chat. I'm watching the chat. I'm just saying, you know. I mean, you were throwing plenty enough bullets at that Swiss cheese yourself, so.
I was just making sure that it was a well thought out idea. That is all.
Was a well thought out idea until you shot it apart.
Actually, my questions are more so I understand it so I can work with it myself.
I know. I'm just giving you crap. I'll think it through some more. I'll come up with a better reason. God is my witness. I will come up with a good reason.
I think just moving the crates is a good reason. You don't need the whole pallet thing. Just pick it up and go. Make the forklift small so it fits in the house.
Well, I would hope that it was at least 2 blocks wide, because I mean, otherwise it's a tiny, tiny forklift. Make it tiny.
We call it a mini fork, or a McFork.
No, we can't use McFork.
It's probably copyrighted. You're right. They probably copyrighted everything.
We did not say McFork.
That's how they unload the trucks when the frozen patties come or whatever. They use a McFork. Right, I understand.
Hey, you're not the only one that came up with a jackhammer. Okay, you're the second person. Line forms behind me.
There's no energy in the chunk, so add it to the chunk. It's this one.
And on that idea,
these are equal.
What if we did have a jackhammer that had like bits you could replace and like put, say, like...
That's not what he's saying. He's saying...
No, I know it's not, but it's what I'm saying.
Oh, wait, I need to check something, guys. I just realized why I'm probably skipping frames and all this.
Because you got like 80 things running in the background?
I'm going to stop the stream and restart the stream, and the stream will be much better because I've been streaming this whole time for the last week or so since I've been on YouTube to a European server.
Oh, yeah, that would definitely help the ping rates. And...
Yep. I'll be right back. It'll take me like 10 seconds to restart this. So
with like removable bits.
The stream again. Hello, everybody. Removable bits. So what he's talking about is an attachment to the excavator, though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about a hand jackhammer. Like one that would replace a pickaxe.
Yeah.
You know?
We don't have any actual tools in the mod.
I'm saying, we're really, really lacking in the tool department here. And they have gas-powered jackhammers. So it's not like unreasonable to say, well, it's not running on air, so how is it working? Because they have jack-powered or gas-powered one. They have electric-powered one. Heck, they have battery-operated one. Yeah, jackhammers have come a long way in modern times. But yeah, I was thinking, you know, like have one bit for fortune, one bit for efficiency, you know, and then you can have the bits themselves have usage bars, and then once they're done, they break, and you got to put a new bit in.
That would be interesting.
That would.
So like the tool itself doesn't break, but there's a consumable or wearable part on it that does.
Right.
Why is this not doing what I thought it would? Are you executing this piece of code?
And you could even make like bits out of like Well, I wouldn't see making it out of cobblestone because I don't think that would work real well in a jackhammer. But like, make like the iron one and the gold one and the diamond one, and instead of making them be 3, either make them be 2 or 1. You know, like say iron, to make them to offset the fact that they're going to be burning up, and to give them a reason to want to use them instead of a pick.
So you'd have to fuel it, and it would have that would be the hard part. If you have to put fuel in it and it can wear the bit, there's 2 pieces of information it needs to store instead of just the damage value. Like the fuel in my drill, for example, is just the damage value that you would normally have on a pickaxe too, right? Your little bar that goes across. But what you're talking about is the fuel consumption and also a wearability of it, so like normal pickaxe damage. How would you do both?
Hey, I'm
just come up with ideas, right?
I'm just the guy that gives the ideas, okay? Okay.
I'm gonna
making them work is your department.
Earlier today I was thinking about because you guys are both having ideas. I've posted on Reddit a couple times that I'm doing the mod again, and Reddit has had some ideas. I was honestly thinking about opening up GitHub for suggestions and things like that. Like, I've done that before, and creating a project on GitHub, because you can do that and it'll track like progress towards all these different things. And then you guys can add them, because you guys tell me all these ideas all the time. If I'm not writing them down, if you don't see me typing it in, I'm gonna forget it like a day later probably, because my memory is awful about that kind of stuff.
Eagle, turning off the faucet that is my brain.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe we should do GitHub possible.
So you can write them in there, and then they're never lost. For the day where I'm like, man, I wish I had an idea. Fiery's not around, right? If like we had a list of all these ideas on GitHub or something like it, I can just go out there and look, and there's Fiery's ideas or Hunter's ideas.
If I turned the idea valve off in my head, my brain would probably explode within minutes. You know, like a semi-nuclear like bomb. Okay.
I can't whistle good enough right now. It's too dry here. There we go. That was probably really loud. Sorry, guys. Oh, the stream's still messing up. Aw. Restream. Come on. Does anyone even watch on Twitch anymore? I mean, should we just stick with just YouTube and cut Restream out of this?
I think so.
Huh?
I don't watch on
yeah, I know.
Twitch.
I've been opening up YouTube just because I've needed to ban people. Oh. I do like the restream chat thing though. Yeah. I have more subscribers on YouTube, like by a significant amount, like by close to a factor of 10 than I do Twitch.
Yeah, but most of those came from your earlier videos, didn't they?
Earlier videos.
Not to burst the bubbles. Your Let's Plays on Ancient Warfare and...
Yeah, definitely.
I know you got quite a few from that one. Like, I know that for a fact.
You're just saying that because that's how you found me, is Ancient Warfare. It seems to me like the truck is faster than the other machine still.
I'll take it for a cruise. Can we still do the truck racing like we used to?
Whoa, that thing is spazzing. Like,
yeah, I'm saying, right somebody order the short bus for this gentleman.
Why is Eclipse not hitting breakpoints? Dang it. Yeah, something's definitely wrong with it. It's because it's on the chunk border.
So it's trying to render it in 2 different places?
Yeah, it's like jumping back and forth between the chunks, I think. Because it wasn't actually there. Okay,
And
now
yes,
it's
Eagle, I was just throwing these ideas out. I know Tech, he probably already threw it to the spreadsheet he's got.
No, I haven't. That's what I was saying. You guys need to like write these things down because I'll forget them. When I'm in the middle of the code, I can't stop and write every idea down. I just can't. I gotta keep my focus.
Okay, start a little document.
Well, that's what I'm saying. With what I was talking about, you wouldn't have to. We could put it all in one common place where everyone could see the ideas. You could see them, Hunter could see them, I could see them, Eagle could see them. And then when you have an idea, you'd be like, hey, I want to add a forklift. And then Hunter could be like, we should make it do this. And then by the time I get to actually do it, it's like a well thought out idea. It should disappear in a minute if this works. What's the client since last server post? What's the timer set at? If it's greater than 100, that's ticks. Ooh. Client ticks the last pulse is 0. We're updating it right there. Why is that not getting reached? Okay, Hunter. Enjoy family time. I tell you, this is really acting funny. I don't like it. Like my Eclipse isn't... Oh, it's not there. How is it rendering? That's why it's never touching that code. It's not Eclipse. Yeah. Okay.
Did you figure out the bug already?
No, it just got that much nastier. Because what I thought it was is not it. The entity doesn't exist on my system even. There's 4 entities in the world, it says. Why? The lines. No. There's 1 entity in the world. Me. Now there's 2. 3. What? It's there, but it's not. I think I might know what it is. Sorry, I'm typing my code on the other screen. If get that dot remove There, so that should be when it's dead, it should remove it from the chunk. That's how that should work. So let's relog and make sure that one's gone. Because that one's never going to get removed. It's up now. Okay, so does the issue happen again? Let's get rid of everything from my inventory so I know when I pick one up or not. Okay. Okay, my inventory's full. Let's do this. Make sure that piece of code's actually getting hit. Put a breakpoint there. It didn't get hit. But it didn't occur every time. So when you're crossing the border, and kind of picked it up on the border. Well, that obviously didn't fix it. Adds to the chunk. If it's not dead. We're setting it to be dead if it's past so many ticks, but that never happens because it's not actually there. But it's in this entity list. Or something, because it still renders it. Let's check the rendering code, make sure it is rendering it, and I'm not just completely batty and seeing things. Yep. The entity, it has an entity. Go down to the world object, world, and then is remote is true. So that's on the client side. But the client doesn't actually have it because this code's never running at all. Otherwise we'd have a breakpoint reached immediately when I put that breakpoint there. This should be running every tick. Open declaration. Maybe I've overridden the client, update client on the semi-tractor by some chance? Nope. On update, it does the super. So that should do the main parent class, which is this one. Checks if it's remote, and then it updates the client. So that should get reached. Okay, so let's so semi-tractor. Put a breakpoint here. Nothing. That entity is not rendering as my entity, but it's rendering as my entity. And it's in the chunk list. So basically it's the exact opposite problem of the problem where it's not
first
showing. Yeah. It's exactly
first you have a problem with it not showing up in the first place, now it won't leave.
I'm 90% sure I know what's going on. It's adding it as it's removed from the server. And because it's a network packet, there's some delay for the server to say, hey, I'm here, or hey, I've removed you. And it's doing things out of order because of that delay. But how do we fix it, though, is the problem. Because I tried to remove the entity from that list, but that's not working because the update's not occurring because the entity is removed from the client already. It's just not removed from the render list. I need to do something on the actual pickup of it to remove it. Is probably the fix, but that can lead to other issues. So the interact event. Interact. Process initial interact. So the player is sneaking and the world is not remote. Can you have the insta hold something, and when it does not have it, that it disappears? Not sure I understood that one. So the world is remote. We're going to do this. So this is on the client. Client. What did I just screw up? So when the world is checking for entities, it finds it, then it can see if it's holding something. So we're going to set it dead on the client. We're going to remove it on the client. We're going to do this dot log helper. What? Get out of my way. Helper dot info client remove the entity. Okay, so that one's never going to get fixed. Oh, it's still paused. And There we go. Let's do this. See if we can recreate it. In theory, it shouldn't be possible if I'm doing this right to recreate it. Or I'm completely full of crap. And it's completely possible to redo it. Did it even run that code? Was adding to chunk. It didn't. It's not running that code. That's because that code's running instead. Had the wrong part. Ah, it was in the world, just in a different spot. It was dead, okay. I'm getting too many of my inventory again. Oh! I was just about to say, I think I got it. It's not actually there. Okay, so the next thing I need to try, I wanted to try, is actually not setting it to dead, because I didn't realize it was getting set to dead originally. Let's do this, and then let the server tell the client that, hey, you're gone. Because that could be the issue as well. The natural syncing of client or entity information back to the client from the server by Minecraft itself, vanilla, could be intercepted. Clearly not the problem. Okay, so the next thing is, let's do in here we've got two different versions of this, right? Two different scenarios where it can come in. So this first one is the chunk is loaded. Okay, so get there. We're within the Y range or whatever that needs to be. We get the chunk entity list. If it's empty, we add it. If it's not empty, we loop through it and return if it's found. If it's not found, then we add it too. So let's do this, is what I'm saying. That way we can see which one it is. It's going to be that first one, I believe. It's always the one that's found. So let's clear it and load the level up. Does everything happen in our log? Okay. Added chunk 1. Okay. So that didn't happen. Okay, there it happened. Added to chunk 2. So it was in the entity list for the chunk. In the entity list for the chunk a second time. And added it again. Or not in the entity list, sorry. But the entity list wasn't empty, meaning that it had an entity in there. And then the last time the entity list was empty and it added it. So it got added 3 different times, probably as it crossed the chunk border the first 2. Because I was in the truck and the same chunk as the truck. The second time I was already in the chunks again as it moved into the new chunk. And then I guess when we crossed into the third chunk, maybe the truck sped off and I was already out of it, stayed in the old chunk. That shouldn't have any impact with whether or not it gets removed, right? When is the removal getting taken place on the server side? Let's do that next. Update server, no. Process the interact. Log helper. Info. But is checking to see where it should be and cannot decide. Maybe that's another thing we need to add is like what chunk it thinks it's in and its position to the, well, it's not even an entity at that point though. Once it does this, none of the entity code's running anymore. I have no idea how that chunk list, it's still in the chunk list. It should get removed by vanilla when it despawns the entity, but it's not. Look, I've had the same type of code in here before. Removing the entity. Maybe it's because it's not flagged as added to chunk, so it doesn't get removed. But that adding to the chunk code down at the bottom should do that. Okay, let's just add this log. Server remove code reached. Client remove code reached. I think what we're gonna. Oh, I'm not gonna speculate anymore. I've been wrong too many times. I want to see if it's the server removes it, the client adds it, and then the client removes it in the wrong order or something. Really? Okay, let's clear everything again. Let's drive another one through. Client removed. So the client tried to remove it because it thinks I was close enough to it to remove it. The server doesn't. So the client removed it. It got added back to the chunk by the client. Because it was still there, because the server said it was there. Then the client tried to remove it again, then the server tried to remove it. And somewhere in between there, I bet the server told the client, hey, this entity's here, and it respawned it again. Because I'm sending down packets from the server for their world locations periodically. That's how you drive the machines around. I was gonna say, it's there somewhere. I know it's gonna be bugged out. That one doesn't even have the server removed code at all. Alright, this one's really buggy, crazy. There it is. That's why the server never had it removed. It actually moved up to here, but the client never got the information about where it was in the world. Maybe it's the entity ID is changing because the client's respawning it, but the client should be looking at what the ID from the server. Let's just put that to the log too. Plus this dot entity. Get entity ID. Where is it? Sorry, I'm gonna watch this on my other screen again so I can watch it happen real time. Hi, Xavier. Client removed, reached. It's somewhere up here on the server. Watch. Boom. It's there on the server. Because remember, it was glitching on the chunk border before. And it was actually here. So there's a desync between the positions on the client and the server. So looking at my code, the client remove code was reached for 247 was the first thing. Then the server remove code was reached for 247. So that should have got removed 247. Then it added to the chunk 2254 or 52. I'm sorry, 2252. Several different chunks because we drove through several chunks. Then it removed on the client 252. Then we paused the game and reloaded the level. So the server never reported that it got removed. It just got removed on the client. I'm scrolling through the code here. Okay, so I've taken the set dead option out of the client side. Let's clear my console window up again. We've got to add to chunk, add to chunk, add to chunk. Client remove code reached, but it didn't actually remove it because I didn't do it this time. I told it to not set it to dead on the client side. There we just killed it on the server, but there was 2 of them there. There was 2 of them there. Did you see the difference in the shadow when I did that? There was 2 of them rendering over top each other somehow. Okay, so it's there.
Were you talking to me, Tech? Sorry, I was talking to my brother.
No, you're fine, Fire. It's actually adding a second one every time it cross the chunk border. Look how dark the shadow's getting. So right here on the screen, there's the shadow. It's darker as we cross chunk borders. And when I pick one of them up, ah, crap! It didn't do it that time. So there it is. Look how dark the circle is. Pick one of them up. It gets lighter because I picked one of them up. The client thinks there's 2.
Is it actually duping it?
I think it is. I think it's duping it, but in a weird way. It's my add code for sure, where I'm adding it back in. So I'm doing it in some scenario where I shouldn't be adding it. Is what that's telling me.
What I'm saying is it actually duping it in the world? Like, can you pick up 2 of them from the one that you place?
So that one's not actually there. If I could log out. Right, it should disappear. I'm gonna throw 1 on the ground, clear my inventory. So there's only 1. I got 1 in my inventory. Okay, put it down, clear the inventory, so I have nothing in my inventory. Let's drive forward, cross the border, and jump out at the same time while I hit the button. There's 2 there because it's a dark circle. Oh, 1 just disappeared. Did you see it disappear? There it is. Like, I've got it in my hand. It's not on the server anymore. Hang on a sec, guys. Okay, sorry about that. I had to put Pez in a Pez machine. Or Pez holder, whatever. What was I thinking before? Dang it. We're adding it at the wrong time. It's already there and we're adding it again. As it crosses over a chunk. It's basically what it is. Or we're not removing it from the prior chunk when we're going into the new chunk or something like that. So let me just drive around looking at the shadow. That'll help me understand what's going on, I think. So we added to this new chunk. If I go back, does it get removed? I doubt it. No. It's got to be this adding to chunk number 2 that's happening. So that means that there's something in the entity list. Now, is it just because I'm driving first that there's something in the entity list? Yes. Okay, so let's get out of this one. Picked it up. Let's drive backwards. See, it's still there. This one. Oh, backwards I said. It gets darker this way too. So both of those are actually triggering it. We're crossing a trunk border. It's adding it to the chunk. Okay, so the next thing I need to know is what is the chunk coordinate in my log. Dot X. Let's actually do it on the one above. Or below, whatever. This scenario I understand pretty well. So let's say CX equals that. Add plus symbols after both of those to concatenate these strings together. And then plus CY equals space. And then whatever the Y value is going to be, like that. That doesn't need to be there. Probably needs to be there. Still erroring off on something? A plus symbol. Here we go. And I have to restart Minecraft because it crashed when I didn't compile right. Wait, where's there? Oh. Dot Z. Chunk coordinates are not Y, they're Z. I kind of want to see if it's when I'm crossing over the border into the new chunk, the old chunk is what it gets added to. If that's the case, then there's something definitely wrong with how I'm doing it. Maybe that casting to a block position from an entity position which has a decimal point to it, but a block position would not. It'd be rounded, right? So I bet if that's the case, if I go in the positive directions, it probably occurs, but if I go in the negative directions, it probably doesn't. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. F3G. F5. Okay, so I'm sitting in a truck. It has no duplications because the shadow doesn't look extra dark or anything. I'm bringing up F3, and right here is our chunk coordinates. So we're 10, 10, 10 right now. Or 10, 10, 11. 10, 11. Okay. So I'm going to pull this up on my other screen after I clear this. So clear this out. Okay, I'm going to... Well, we're not actually sitting in the truck. Okay, we're headed towards positive Z. Negative X is this way. So let's see if we add it when we go this way. And I looked at the wrong chunk coordinates. It was these coordinates, not the 10s. So the negative 53 or 54 and 8 are what I have in my log right now. Looking at the shadow, we did add an additional one. This was 53 and 8. And it was 54 that we added it to. Interesting. We didn't add it when we went this way. We added it when we went that way, but it was under a different scenario. So let's update that scenario as well. Its code to display these chunk coordinates. That's because it's backwards, right? It was chunk add 1. So we're in 51, 8, and it's 58 now. So it's adding to the chunk that we're driving into, not the chunk we're coming out of. But then is Minecraft also transferring it over, and it wouldn't check to see if it's already in that chunk, would it? Crap. How could I work around that then? I could look to see if it's on a chunk border, meaning that it's really close to the edge, but that could cause other problems. What happens if you just happen to stop there, walk away and come back to it, then you're not going to see that it was added. I could add a delay, meaning like it has to not find it in the chunk for 10 ticks, then it gets added to the chunk. That might be a viable solution. It probably sounds like the best solution to me, actually. Let's do that. Let's see if I can figure that one out. So we'll have to do it every time we cross a chunk. This is going to be fun, figuring this one out. Public. Count, public int, count, not found X times. We'll set it to 0 by default. Yeah, go ahead and terminate. That's fine. We're going to change the code a lot. We're going to go down here where we're adding it. And every time we get in here, where we would normally add it, we're going to add 1 to this. Right? Yeah. Anytime where we would have not, like, we found it successfully, we need to reset that to 0. So that would be here. And that's it. So we found it in a chunk. Don't do anything. We found it in the chunk it's in. It might end up in the same scenario. Okay. And then we need to add a check here that says if that is greater than 10. So it's been 10 times through this loop that it couldn't find it. So we're going to finally just add it now. So basically we're putting a delay on it. Where else is this list used? It's going to call Fierykiljoy going on this while this is running. So in this entity list, get this. It's going to be in a render code. Render entities. So we're getting the chunk the same way. We're getting the position. We're not getting it the same way. That could be what's wrong then. We might be adding it to the wrong chunk or something because of that floating point math versus integer math for the block position. We might need to change the method we're using to get the chunk. So that's my next potential fix. The shadow's not getting darker. Okay, so the next question is, did I bring back the other bug? If I fix this one. I think I've got it, guys. That shadow is not getting any darker as I cross the chunk borders. We're not adding any entities to the chunk. So now the question is the other bug back now? Which means we need to fly away from this thing till it disappears. And then come back and see if it's there. Popped in, it got added to the chunk, but there was a delay. Bingo, we got it, guys. Whew. I think I've got it, Fiery. And if it's fixed, I should be able to find it pretty easy. Maybe. I can go in the right direction, guys. Does anybody know? I think I am. Okay, maybe we need to put down another one. I need to go in a straight direction. So a diagonal. I'm going towards the sun, so to go back I need to go away from the sun. Okay, it's gone. Popped in, there we go. Okay, let's park it right on a chunk border. In fact, let's put it on.
I heard you. You might have got it.
I think so.
Alright. I gotta go eat dinner real quick.
Okay.
I'll be back shortly.
Okay. I might be gone fire, so good night. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Alright. Well, night everybody then.
Let's see if it comes back in. There it is. Let's see if I can get in it to make sure the parking in a chunk border doesn't throw it into the wrong chunk or something. I can. I pick it up and only have 5 in my inventory. I can, and it doesn't reappear. That was a tricky one. Glad I figured it out though. Okay, so what other bugs do we have that we need to crush? There's the bug that AK ran into the other night where he blew himself up and all of his entities died. That one's going to be fun because I have to rewrite my explosion code. That's probably not for tonight. I want to see if there's something I can quickly pick up, from this inventory bug. So let's get a loader going. Loader. And put this down. And if I throw something at its bucket, it disappears, right? It's not in the world anymore. I can't pick it up. It's not showing in the bucket though. Because, oops. It's the bucket still. Because it's in the loader. Now if I look at the loader now, you can see it in its bucket. Because the inventory is not getting sent to the client for some reason. That was working before, and when I put this fix in along with some of the other stuff, it stopped working. So the first thing I want to do is look at the loader and see should send client inventory updates. It is on. So now let's go over here to this code. Should send inventory updates to false, which is correct for the default. Come on, control find. Edit. Find. Where are you? All the way on the other side of my other monitor. So on the client init, it checks it. Okay, let's see if that code's even being reached. So the client init should happen when we first log into a server. So in our case, the server is running in the background basically when you play a single player Minecraft. That code is getting reached. That code is working because I can see it right now. So let's look for another one. Is that the only place for real? Okay. Let's check for this then. Send all inventory requests to server. That's sending it up to the server. The server should then process that inventory request. Down in the network handler. Down here. And should send inventory to player. So let's look at that. And we know that this method does work if it gets called. So let's open the call hierarchy. It's in the process message only. Really? Okay. So the next thing we do is look at machine mod entity inventory change to client. Where does that get called? Only there. Something definitely got modified then. Because that should be getting called. Inventory change to client. So it should be this one. Yeah, that one. Let's do the call hierarchy on this. Just send all inventory. And send all inventory is only getting called by process message, which is only getting called by the initial thing. Which is this send inventory to player. Let's go back through the hierarchy here for a second. Keep going. This. Where else is that getting used? That's the only place. That's not right. So let's go to GitHub actually. So I want to look at the other branch, the master branch. So this is my GitHub. TechStack Heavy Machinery mod. Main. Machines, entities, entity machine mod writable. Let's search for that. It's only those 2 spots. Okay, let's look at the history on this. Maybe I recently changed that piece of code where it says first in it. Or first tick. Let's go back 20 some days. Entity machine mod writable. View the code for this one. Client init is getting called there on the first tick. But we had that else statement in there. That's where the bug came from. This used to be down here. Instead. Boop. Let's get another item so we can see it. Boop. Alright, I know what's going on. Let's put down the loader now. There it is. Bug squashed! So that means that happens every tick that I'm requesting all the inventory. Not the best thing in the world. I probably intended for it to work different. But it's been working all this time. I'm gonna leave it like this for right now. Because that had been that way since the 1.8.9 version of this game. It's a bug squash. That's 2 down. 2 down. There's 1 left. There's 1 left. 1 bug left. We still need to do some texture work, right? So texture work I'm talking about is these, right? So I've got to add textures for these. Textures for these. The loader needs its texture again. That's why it's blank. There's no texture at all. It's a blank texture. And then these need textures. And I'm going to retexture some of this other stuff that's just funky looking. Doesn't fit with the Minecraft feel. And then we should be good to do a release, I think. Or at the very least, push it up to the server. Test it on the server itself. Make sure nothing crashes. Excuse me, I got the hiccups today. We're getting close, guys. So that 1 bug that's left is the one I was talking about just a minute ago with, we'll call it the AK bug, where he self blew himself up. But for tonight, I think that's gonna have to be it. It's 9:30. I need to get ready for bed with the kids and stuff. Tomorrow's probably gonna be a big day. We're gonna squish that other bug. We're gonna go through and create some textures. We're gonna get this thing on the server tomorrow. We might even install FTB utilities. Test out FTB utilities. I know that it's not gonna work with FTB utilities, but I want to know everywhere it's not gonna work with the FTB utilities. Once I fix all the bugs with FTB utilities, then we can start getting you guys out on the server with us, I think. So why not, right? It's fun to play together, right? So, Eagle, I know you're interested in getting on the server. That's what it looks like. What needs to happen before we can do that. I want to get FTB utilities on there. We can go from there. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow that we'll be adding people to the server, but we're getting close, guys. Real close. What do you guys think? I don't know. Probably everybody's left. I see there's only 2 people watching. So, with that, I guess I'll let you guys go. Good night. See you tomorrow. We'll go from there.